Hello everyone and welcome back to Chris Aquatics. In today's video I'm going to be doing stuff outside and I'm going to be trying this whole face sort of vibe. So if anyone likes it, let me know. I thought it'd just be a bit better to have a face to the name sort of thing. Anyway, so we're going to be doing stuff outside with the ponds today. I'm going to be showing you guys how I'm breeding the white cloud mountain minnows outside in Sydney, Australia. So the weather today is about 22 degrees. If you guys have any interest in that, it's a pretty gloomy day, so if you have a look up there, it's pretty gloomy. There's nothing really much going on. It's pretty cold for it being summer in about a month, so nothing too crazy going on here, but I figured I'd show you guys how I breed the white clouds. And I'm going to be collecting some babies today, and I'm going to be showing you guys what I do with them and how I'm going to raise them up for this coming breeding season. Now I have a fair few things going on outside, so I have my greenhouse set up that I've got all my new veggies and stuff I'm starting to grow, like herbs and stuff. I'm trying to grow as I want to do more gardening and stuff, but that's just kind of in my pond area, so I figured I'd show that, why not. I've got a tank I'm setting up there soon, so that's going to be the video after this will be that tank being set up. So I'm filming them both in the same day, but separate videos, so yeah. And then we have all our different ponds, so we have quite a few different ponds here. I have 2 ponds on this side, so 1 and 2, and then I have my white cloud breeding pond, and then I have this pond I've recently set up, and then I also have one further down that way. So everything I have set up recently, nothing's really too brand new. It's been, most of them are established. Looking now, yeah, most are established. So I'm happy to go through and show you guys what I have out here so far. So I have gold clouds in here. There's a bunch of alocasia growing. This one's, the bigger leaves don't normally tend to do well once they're fairly aged, so the newer ones look nicer. But I have alocasia in here, and I have my gold clouds in this pond at the moment. It's pretty covered at the moment, and I haven't really checked for fry in here yet, so I'm hoping to make that a separate video. This pond here has my rice fish adult group that I have, and I'll probably feed these guys at some point and I'll show you guys how they all look. This pond here has my white cloud breeding group. That pond's not fully set up, and that pond's just holding duckweed because why not? So I'm going to be going through this pond today. When it comes to breeding white clouds, it's really not hard. So I've sort of left the water level drop a little bit as I was waiting to do this video, and there was lots of babies in here, so I didn't want to mess anything up. So I've left it all, and it's all sort of established now. I ended up propagating the water lily from that pond into here, so there's one now here, which is pretty good. It's starting to throw off new babies, which is perfect. There's a couple different plants in here that I can go through. So I ended up picking this plant up from Bunnings. If anyone wants to know what this one is, that's what it looks like, that's what it's called, Sparkles. I don't know if that's the actual name. It just looked cool, and I wanted a spot for the frogs to hang out as they tend to show up to my ponds every night, so it felt pretty reasonable to grab that. I also ended up going to the Angfa auction, and I got 4 of these blue ivy pond plants. Sorry, ivy's the wrong word. Blue iris pond plants. So I've got 4 of those, 2 there and 2 in this pond. I only got them and put them in yesterday, so nothing too great to show yet. There's a bit of Azolla on the top, and then obviously we got our water lily here, and then I'll go through what is in here. So I've kind of tried to grow a few different things. So we have some Java moss on some pads or like mesh things. I've got 2 of those, and then there's a big clump of bulbitis in that corner. That's normally the area where the white clouds are breeding. So I have, I think, 8 in here at the moment. There's a ratio of females to males. I don't know the exact ratio, but I know there's a higher ratio of females to males. And then a couple different plants that I can prove to you guys that it actually grows here. So this one here is Ambulia. There's also some jungle val, the small form of it. There is this plant, I forget the name of, I don't remember the ID, but it grows underwater and out of the water. It's like a foxtail, but I don't think that's foxtail. And I also have foxtail in here, so foxtail, hornwort, whatever you guys call it, that's in here. I have the Myrifolium rarami or something like that. I'll have the names of these in the description, but that's this one here with like the more brown milfoil look to it. I've tried Crips, which haven't done too bad, they haven't melted away. I have 2 of them here. And then a couple different plants that I can prove to you guys that it actually grows here. So this one here is Ambulia. There's also some jungle val, the small form of it. There is this plant, I forget the name of, I don't remember the ID, but it grows underwater and out of the water. It's like a foxtail, but I don't think that's foxtail. And I also have foxtail in here, so foxtail, hornwort, whatever you guys call it, that's in here. I have the Myrifolium rorami or something like that. I'll have the names of these in the description, but that's this one here with like the more brown milfoil look to it. I've tried crypts, which haven't done too bad. They haven't melted away. I have 2 of them here. And then I also have this stem plant that's got like brown shoots to it. I put it in originally as like a red, but it hasn't exactly stayed red. You can see some of the leaves are still red, but it's more brown. And some of it's starting to grow almost, which is pretty cool. You can see that right there. So this pond has a mixture of quite a lot of cover, but not as much as some people do use. But in my opinion, white clouds don't really eat their fry. They might eat a little bit, but I've never really noticed much of them eating the fry. So today what I'm basically going to do is I've got this container right here that I've just filled up with some of the pond water, and I'm just going to use my shrimp net to catch out as many of the babies as I can, because I'm going to bring them inside to raise them up a bit easier, so away from the parents. I think you can raise them together if you want to, but I prefer it this way. So when I was taking the water out, it already grabs 2, so you can see them right there. I'm going to end up getting a lot more than 2 from this video, so I'll show you guys what we're looking for. So now basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the pond and catch out as many of the fry as I possibly can. There's a fair few in here. Every time I try to show it, it's a bit hard because it's so tiny, but they're these tiny little black specks, so you can see my hand right there. I'll get them all in the container, and then I'll go through how many we got, because I'll count, but I'll try to film a little bit of a time lapse of catching them, so you can kind of get an idea of how long it took, and I'll tell you guys afterwards how long it took me to catch everything in here. So it took me about 5 minutes to catch about 30 of them. It's a bit hard to film them outside, so I'm going to get them inside in the tank, and I'll show you guys how they look. We're inside now at the breeding section, where I've got everything breeding at the moment, and I have my yellow cherry tank that doesn't really have much in it, so I ended up adding them to that. And there is quite a fair few in here. Trying to get it to focus, and you can get an idea of how many there are. Now the float isn't exactly too high. I do think it's a bit too high for them, so I'm going to turn down the sponge at the back there. But I do have about 60 of these at the moment. This is a 20-litre tank, so I'm going to grow them out. It's probably about 2 weeks old, and then I'll probably like split them between 2 tanks, or I might have to probably bring them outside and grow them out outside instead. Personally, I would say that it's not hard to breed these. You just have to be very careful about when you transport the fry. So I was originally using a net, but I decided to go with a little tiny, it's like a measuring cup, and just scoop them out the top of the water, because I tend to swim at the top, just like you can see here. So that's what I'd recommend, is you don't damage the fry at all, and it worked pretty well after I started doing it and getting the hang of it. But this is just a small tank that I'm going to have them in for the time being until I find their forever home. I plan on putting a fair few outside again, but it does go to show how easy these are to breed. It just takes a bit of patience. I do reckon you could keep the fry in the parent's tub the whole time, but I haven't really ever tested it, so I might give that a go next summer. I have this on hand at the moment. I do need to get more bug buffet. I ran out pretty quick after buying the first lot, as I have so many fry in all my tanks now. Pretty much all these tanks have fry, so kind of getting overloaded at the moment. But I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to breed white clouds and how you can easily grow these pretty quickly. So with something like your rainbow fish that I have in here, they take ages to grow. So these are about 2.5 weeks old, and these are 2 days old. So you can kind of get the idea of how they're both the same size, but the white clouds will grow really fast. There's a high turnover because they're always available and always wanted by a lot of people because they're a really good starter or beginner fish. Coming back outside to the ponds again, I can quickly show you how the adults will be breeding. So if you look into a tub like this, and you can see all of those little guys right there. So those are mosquito larvae, and they're in all different sizes, so you can see them all. What I do daily is I get a net, I scoop them out, and I put them straight in here, and I let the adults eat all of those up. That's the main source of protein they get for breeding, and it's worked pretty well because, I mean, I haven't even picked out of all the fry from in here, and you can see there's still plenty more dashing around. There's probably like 10 right in front of the camera right now, so it gets nuts, and they're spawning almost daily in here, and it doesn't take long for the fry to hatch. As for where they're spawning, I have 2 of these in here at the moment, and it's just a big moss pad. So it has algae on it, so you can see there's like string algae and stuff right there on it, so it's not good for in a tank as such. But out here in a pond environment, it works great. And the fish spawn in it, they hatch, and it works perfect. So as you can see again, there's just tons and tons of fry in this pond. And it's really easy to do this. It doesn't take a lot to set up. The fish are normally around $3 to $4 each at around adult size. Just make sure when you're picking them out to pick a couple really big fat ones as females and some smaller ones as males, or like the more thinner ones as males. So it's pretty easy to tell with these guys for male and female. If you're looking to replicate what I'm doing, this is about 60 to 70 liters, this little tub here, and I have 8 fish in my breeding group at the moment. A mixture of males to females. I'm pretty sure it's like 5 females, 3 males, but I'm not entirely sure. But I do recommend having more females than males when it comes to them being outside. But it's totally up to you. If you want to have more males because you want them to spar and breed faster, you can do that too. But I prefer to have more females, as I'm not really in a rush to breed them, as they breed so much as it is. You kind of get overloaded with fry. You can always take all the fry out, pop them in a different tub outside and try to do that way. I'm going to try that soon, and I'm going to make a video on how that goes for me, but it's really up to you on how you want to do it. Other than that, I'd say these guys are really easy to breed. You just want to be prepared when you do it, so make sure you have the food for the fry ready before you start trying to breed them. When you get the adult group, make sure to give them at least a week or 2 to fatten them up and get the females to breed. And then you make sure that you have a tank or a pond to put the fry in. Aquarium that has shrimp in it already and just a shrimp colony is perfect. I have that for all my fries, so I have rice fish and then rainbow and then white cloud fry in these tanks. So it works out great, and there's also rainbow fry down here as well. And all of these are shrimp tanks, so that's what I recommend. If you guys liked this kind of concept of it, feel free to let me know. If you've had any different experiences, I'd love to hear about those too in the comments down below. Other than that, I'll catch you guys next time, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.